One more somewhat political question, but it mainly has to do with the character of the ownership group of the Pittsburgh Steelers. So the Rooneys created the Rooney Rule. Everyone is up to date with it. Has its flaws in some areas, but overall a very good thing. One of the Rooneys served, I believe, as ambassador to Ireland for the Obama administration. What sort of precedent did they set within this franchise for it to be a model franchise within the National Football League?
Equal opportunity. The chance for whoever it is, regardless of what you look like, regardless of what your background is, to have an opportunity to be at your best, either as a player or as a coach, being on the staff, being in the building. And the entire Rooney family has always lived by that based on my knowledge of being around the family and being a part of the team. And those sentiments definitely stand true when you talk about the Rooney Rule. Them implementing a rule to give minorities an opportunity to have a chance to not just be players in the NFL, but also be coaches in the NFL at its highest level. Do I like the Rooney Rule? I don't like it because of the rule, people are just giving out interviews just to fulfill the obligation of the rule, which isn't fair to those individuals that are minorities that are really going into these interviews, really hoping and excited about the chance. But for an organization, well, we got an obligation we got to fill for the Rooney Rule. Let's go ahead and just bring him up because he fits the criteria of the rule. Bring him in, bam. We not hiring him. We know we're not going to hire him, but we had to get this off the check box. We had to check this box. That's where the Rooney Rule really, has a distaste in my mouth in terms of what it does compared to what it's supposed to do. But you have to applaud the Rooney family for coming up with that opportunity for a lot of people who were not getting that said opportunity.
So what's your solution then? I understand that we're, from a societal sense, we are where we are. But what would be your solution to this?
More people, speaking out about it that does not fit the minority category. That's what it is. More people who are not actually going through these valleys and hills, but the ones who are already in prominent positions speaking out and saying, man, come on, man, this is BS. Because at the end of the day, you want to win. I remember once upon a time, and this is long before I became an NFL player, Rick, the quarterback position was kind of destined for one individual. Right. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And if you're a fan of the game, the history of the game, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And it was hard for a minority to try to get that opportunity and to get so with free range just to play ball. It was hard. If you go back to the 70s, you didn't see a lot of African-American quarterbacks. You didn't see a lot of minorities playing the quarterback position. If you go to the 80s, you didn't see a lot. And then you start to see a lot here or there, right? And it became more prevalent. But then when it became more prevalent, they started to think about doing what? Well, because you're so athletic, but you play quarterback, let's move you to another position because of how good of an athlete you are, right? That used to be the thing. Remember, Michael Vick came into the league. They thought about moving him. Maybe he should play running back or wide receiver. Hey, more recently, Lamar Jackson.
Exactly.
When he came into the league, well, he's not a quarterback. The man won the Heisman at Louisville, playing quarterback at Louisville, not Alabama, not Michigan, Ohio State, at Louisville, playing quarterback. Why would you think he's not suited to play quarterback in the NFL? Oh, but because he didn't fit the normal criteria of an NFL quarterback, they were inclined to try to move him. And luckily they did not. But now when we look at the NFL, Rick, you see more minority quarterbacks playing the quarterback position than ever before. And you know why? Because their style resonates to what? Winning. Once upon a time, if you were an athletic quarterback, they didn't really want you to play quarterback, especially if that athletic quarterback was a minority. But now if you're an athletic quarterback, we want him. Because that resonates to winning in this age of football. So now if you're an owner and if you feel some type of way about anything, that winning trumps all of that. So I think for us in terms of coaches, when you're a minority coach and you get that opportunity, you're not just fighting for yourself. You're fighting for the next individual that looks like you, that comes from your background. Because if you can set a precedent and find a way to knock down barriers and just win, because you said something earlier in this interview. You said one thing we know about the NFL, and the same can be said in sports. Winning trumps everything.
Yep.
They'll take on a guy who might be an a-hole of an individual. But if he can help you win and do so in a consistent fashion, which will bring revenue to the organization, we'll take him on. So now when you talk about being in these positions and when you finally get a coach and he's a Mike Tomlin, keep winning. Because organizations, owners want the same thing that DC winning organizations are doing. Once upon a time, they said, Lamar Jackson shouldn't be playing quarterback. Well, Lamar Jackson has been playing quarterback. He's been winning a lot of ball games. And guess what happened? Well, the Commanders had opportunity. They see a quarterback that kind of fit Lamar Jackson. The first thing they say, well, he reminds us of Lamar Jackson. Yep. Now it's being praised to have the athletic. Think about it.
I know, it's crazy. It's crazy.
So to answer your question, what could be done? More people who does not look like the minority speaking out on the situation, because there are a lot of qualified minority coaches that should be getting the opportunity to coach in the NFL. But we need more people to speak out on it that hold prominent positions where their voice is not only heard, but is felt, because those are the people that move the meter because they have power to do so instead of just talking about it and then moving on from it. No, stand firm and be confident in what you're saying, because there lies the opportunity for other people to listen to what you're saying, and it can change the game. Now, a lot of people are qualified. A lot of people ain't qualified, but it's all about getting that opportunity when you show the ability to be a guy like an Aaron Glenn, to be around where the locker room gravitates towards you, and you've shown the ability to get these grown men to follow your lead. Because think about it like this. If Aaron Glenn, who was just the DC for Detroit Lions over the last few years, he goes to the New York Jets, and they mess around and win a Super Bowl, so the next one who kind of fits that Aaron Glenn mold, oh, you saw what the New York Jets did. Mm-hmm. Man, we might do the same thing. It's a copycat league. You know how it is. It's like that in sports. It's like that way in business. Whenever there's an opposer doing something well and they win it, you got to dissect and figure out why they win it, what they're doing. Oh, they got a Lamar Jackson over there. Man, we need to find us a Lamar Jackson, because what he doing, we need that same thing.
Well put.